Welcome to Boss Talk Radio, the #1 online business and entrepreneurial talk show. Brought to you by Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
He gon' fix your situation like there ain't no time for wasting. We ain't playing when we saying
He the boss.
And if you ever have a problem, he gon' show you how to solve it. Listen in and he'll show you he the boss.
Talk
Here's your host, the sexy tax expert, George Dandridge.
Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
What's going on, family? What's going on, Boss Talk family? How are y'all doing? So we're wrapping up this thing called Season 3, and we're talking about the top 10 success hacks for you guys. So number 10, if you recall, if you remember watching number 10, it was basically saying to show up to serve. Look to see how you can be a benefit to someone else versus showing up looking for what can be done for you, or showing up in that type of a mindset. So now we're going to get into number 9. And number 9 is be present. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute, because a lot of you are showing up at network events and things of that nature, and you're not present. What I mean by that, go to the high school event or something, or have some teenagers around or some young adults, and you're going to see this common thing where their entire circle is together, but everybody's holding up their $1,200 paperweights, playing on their phone, and nobody's really connected or really interacting, even though they're physically in the same place. Well, many of you are doing this when you go to these networking events or these professional association events. You know, the old saying is you have to show up, you have to be in the room, but that doesn't matter if you show up and you're not present, you're not in the moment, you're not engaged. So number 9 is to be present. When you go to these places, you go to these events, engage the people that are there. In fact, be very intentional about who you're looking to meet. And when I say who, I mean, you should have a list of, okay, these are the type of professionals I need to connect with, or these are the industries that I need to connect with. And you should have a checklist, and you should actively seek out those people. If there's something you need in your business, whether it's a web developer or an accountant or whatever it may be, you should be on a mission to get some face time and personally engage these people at these events. It is not enough. In fact, it is network suicide. And I'm just amazed that this is still done. In fact, there's a whole new business model behind it, but it's absolute suicide to just go to these events, speak to someone, hand them a business card, get theirs, have no meaningful connection at all, and think that this person is, one, even going to remember you, let alone ever contact you to engage in your services. We know for a fact that it usually takes about 7 points of contact before somebody makes a commitment to engage you. And so if this is your first encounter, you should make it as meaningful and as engaging as possible, with a deliberate intention to follow up, whether it's closing on a follow-up time to speak or whatever at that moment, or you simply reaching out to reaffirm the conversation and let them know that that conversation had an impact, or that you do plan to develop or build the relationship from that point. Exchanging cards, and when I said there's a whole nother business out there that surrounds this now, there's this thing where they have the e-business cards or whatever. And here's the reality. If you go through your social media contacts right now, probably for the most part, 80% of the people on your list you do not personally know. And the interesting thing about social media is that we have this real like connection where you can do business and interact with people that you in fact don't truly know. It's an amazing thing. Like you've never met them in person, but you've engaged enough in groups or you followed them, you've seen their kids grow up. There's the running joke, we all went to Facebook together or whatever. But in this time, that's a real opportunity to connect as well, but you have to be present. We see this kind of fail over on LinkedIn. Here's what ends up happening. People are over on LinkedIn, they're the bougie social media crowd, supposed to be the professional social media crowd, and they're just spamming people. People just going into your inbox, oh, hey, and they try to like, come on. Even the old thing about, and if you haven't connected with Dr. Tawana Ross, the LinkedIn professor, go ahead and do that. But even with the whole engagement of, well, send a personalized message or what have you, if you did not, in fact, engage this person on some other post, whether it was theirs or some mutual connection, if you jump into this person's DM and simply start sending them a random message saying, hey, nice to meet you, hope to network with you, so forth and so on, it seems real spammy. They know that as soon as they hit the connect button or the accept button, there's an auto email coming with an attempt to sell service. Some of the best of them will say, well, hey, let's jump on a call. Here's my calendar to jump on a call. Why do I want to talk to you right now? We have nothing to talk about. You're lying when you say, well, you want to learn more about my business. No, you want to learn how you can benefit from my business by getting access to my clientele or what have you. So it's a really, really drab and spammy approach, and you shouldn't do that. So be authentically present, show up as yourself, represent yourself and your brand. And when you leave any event or any place, your presence should have been felt at that place. That doesn't mean you need to run your mouth. You just keep on running your mouth and talking or whatever. Your presence can be felt without you ever saying a word. That's really knowing how to network, waiting for the right opportunities like double dutch, like you're counting when to jump in and boom, hit with the most efficiency possible. And when you get these other contacts, follow up, follow up, follow up. If there's an opportunity to build the relationship, because you never know who you're going to need. You never know, more importantly, who you can help. There's this saying, you're one connection away from your next level of success. Let's think about that for a minute. If you're one introduction away, if you're one connection away, yeah, you may have to go through 100 introductions and 50 connections to find that one. But that's why you have to be deliberate and you have to do the work and you have to be present and go through that each and every time. And for, us introverts, that gets a little bit harder or what have you, but you have to draw up the energy and you have to get it done. And you have to be really intentional about getting that done, because you may end up benefiting one of your clients by your connections. Like, interestingly enough, in my industry, in the financial space, people come to us all the time. They believe that we know somebody that does everything, and we're one of the go-to people that they'll call. Like, do you know anyone that does this? Do you know anyone that does that? So if you have any financial professionals in your network, let me advise you, one, don't burn that bridge. Always carry yourself professional with them and keep your word, because we are the plugs. Believe that. Secondly, again, really be present in that space. Check out of your phone. Stop, going through social media. Hey, you can check in when you first get there or what have you, or when you leave, say, hey, I was at such and such place, had a good time, it was impactful, so forth and so on. But while you're there, be in that moment, be engaged, because people know when you are faking it. This is Success Hack number 9. Be present. We'll see you guys on the next episode.